We have such a treat today. We are learning about Java. Every morning we have a cup of coffee with you, and you've probably heard me complain that our coffee here at our house often tastes like dirty sock water.
Yeah.
Why is that?
We don't know anything about coffee.
So we're gonna fix it. We have a master roaster, Felipe from Paz Coffee, and he's here all the way from Colombia to teach us about the coffee bean, the process of roasting, what we need to do differently. Let's dive in. Tell us what we need to know.
Well, now it's a big difference between, specialty coffee and the regular coffee that you can get in supermarket,
What is the difference?
It's many differences.
It's in the bean, right?
It starts with the bean, but also in the roasting, also in the preparation of the coffee. Those are factors that affect the final product, the final taste.
Already in just the last 3 minutes, I've learned that your water should not be boiling.
No, at all. The perfect temperature to prepare coffee or to make coffee is 92 to 93 degrees Celsius.
So just under boiling.
Exactly. If you pour the water, in 100 degrees, which is Celsius, which is boiling point, it will burn all the enzymatic content of the coffee. The enzymatic content of the coffee is what gives flavor and smells of the coffee. So you're gonna get, if the coffee smells like flowers or like fruits or have any good smell in it, you can kill it right there.
Do you know that before I even liked coffee, it was always the aroma that would suck me in. It was like, ooh, I like that coffee aroma, right?
Yeah, there's two differences, fragrance and aroma. Fragrance is when you smell the coffee dry, and aroma is when you put water into the coffee, and that gives you a different smell. When we're cupping coffee, when we're tasting coffee, you technically, to make sure it's no defects or what are the attributes that are in the coffee, we do that. Fragrance first, to make sure we get a good product, and then we do the aroma just to see if coffee behaves, in the same way.
In a similar way. So because when I grab the bag, I smell it and I'm like,
That's the
oh
fragrance.
And then often I'll bring it and I'll ruin it by putting scalding hot water on it.
Exactly.
We're ruining the coffee.
Like nowadays, I get people that ask me a lot about wine and coffee. There are certain things that you can compare, directly. When you're tasting, when you're in a cupping table, you can tell, well, aromas, and the guy who developed, the aromas of the coffee, of the wine, was the same guy that developed the essentials coffee aroma.
There's so many different ways to knock that out of the coffee when,
Exactly.
when you're making it or brewing, or not brewing it, but roasting it or cleaning the bean, or is it in the farming of the coffee, like the actual growing of it, or is it?
It starts with that.
Okay.
The variety of the coffee. What coffee variety do you have? Where is the origin of the coffee? What is the process that the coffee has? We have natural coffee, fully washed coffee, semi-washed coffee, which are the honeys, and they all have different attributes, all different, fermentations.
Oh, the
different
luwak
things.
coffee that we
Yes! We had a foreign exchange student, and she was from Indonesia, and she brought us this coffee where there was an animal known as the civet, and the civet would eat the coffee cherries, and then they would gather the excrement of the civet, clean it, and then that's what would make the coffee so rich.
Yes, I capped that coffee, a few times.
That's not what you brought today, right?
No, at all.
Okay, thank goodness, thank goodness.
Well, and so when it comes to a coffee like that, I personally wonder is it the fact that that's the process that makes it so intriguing, or is there really a true taste that people get from that coffee? Is it just an earthy taste that they like? Because I find it a little earthy.
Okay, yeah. You're completely right. You know, when you're processing coffee, fermentation is a key process. You know, and you know, putting through the stomach of an animal will fermentate the beans in a certain way. You know, and you think this could be a good way of having coffee, you know, and tasting the coffee. To me personally, I don't like it.
I would never think that's a good way.
I don't like it.
Whoever tried that first, or like whoever thought, ooh, let's try this.
There's an easy way to not have to pick coffee beans. Let the animals do it and we'll just get it out of their poop.
It depends on like many factors. I tried that coffee, I didn't like it, you know, it's a very earthy, you know, like malt taste to it. It's more like a unique, the process, you know, it has a story behind it, and some people like it, you know. And you know, from the specialty coffee approach, coffee is special to you, to the person. So if somebody finds that, you know, that coffee is good and they like it and they find something good out of it, that's a special coffee for them.
I think the best part of that coffee is the story.
Exactly.
It's the journey of the bean.
Exactly.
What brought you in to the whole coffee realm? How did you become a master roaster? Because not too many people know what that even is.
And I said master roaster.
Oh,
today.
did you make that up?
You may not be.
Did you make that up?
There are.
Here I'm saying that like that's your
hold on.
official title.
There are master roasters.
Okay.
Now there is an official title master roaster.
Okay.
And when I taste these beans, and I have heard I've heard part of Felipe's backstory.
Well, let's ask Felipe.
I just assume, and I probably shouldn't, that he's a master roaster because this
Felipe.
coffee is so amazing.
Felipe, what is your title? What do you do?
That
should have been our first question.
I can say, you know, from the experience I had in coffee, I can say I'm a coffee specialist. You know, I have to learn many stages of the entire process. You know, like we were talking about wine. You know, when you get a bottle of wine, you get the wine and the product is as the producer intended for you to have it. You know, with coffee it's a completely different story. You know, we take part of, in the producer country, we take part of the 33% of the production of the coffee, you know, and you know, all that's in the ground, from the tree, the wet process, the dry mill, the packaging and sporting, you know, that's 33% of the process. And here, you know, somebody is going to roast the coffee. That's like cooking the coffee. You can have the best beans, but if you don't know how to roast them, you're going to ruin them. So I have to learn how to like roast the coffee, you know, properly, so I can show some of the roasters that I was selling the coffee to how to proper roast my coffees or the coffees I was selling at that time, you know, because they were very unique and special coffees, and you know, very expensive, and you know, sometimes they will just ruin the coffee, so I have to learn how to roast. Then I had baristas, the people who prepare the coffee at the coffee shops, the guys that are behind the machines, those are the baristas. So these guys also can ruin the coffee, you know, if they don't know how to prepare the coffee right, if they don't set up the grinder at the right, you know, grade, the coffee is going to be ruined. They leave it 5 to 10 seconds more in the extraction. They ruin the coffee. So it's not like wine. Wine is already
Right, it's in the bottle. It's got the cork on it. There's only so much you're responsible for.
Exactly.
You even if you put it in the wrong glass, even if you let it sit in the wrong glass a little bit too long.
Exactly.
If the white wine's a little too warm or too chilled, you're still going to be okay with the aromas, the legs, and all that. Coffee.
I feel like it takes a village. It takes a village to serve a cup of coffee.
Well, it's about, if you want to experience the coffee the way you're intended to experience the coffee, unless it's just a styrofoam cup, you're getting it from a to-go place and you're on the run.
Don't even say that in front of our specialists.
But if it's intended to be the experience, as opposed to a shot of caffeine, then there needs to be some type of education involved.
Exactly.
And I guess just
Let's
feel.
watch the specialist
Yes.
at work, shall we? Let's walk us through
Okay.
how this works and what we need to do.
We're gonna prepare a French press.
Okay.
A lot of people have some of these at home. They don't know how to use it. They make infusions for and other things. But for coffee, it's a very easy way of preparing coffee. Some people don't like it in the specialty industry, but I'm one of the people who thinks that you can have good coffee at home with what you have, so it's a matter of choosing the right beans and choosing the right roaster, and then you learn a little bit of how to prepare it at home. You don't have to have the right grinder or anything, but you can find a way of dosifying the 3 variables of preparing coffee, which is temperature, time, and grinding. So if you mix those, you can get the flavors you want, and you dosify those with the time, and you find the right way of drinking your coffee at home.
When you're mixing temperature,
Time and grinding. And we are talking about coffee.
That sounds like bedroom talk.
Stop.
But can you judge that by the color of the coffee, or how do you know? Is it by taste?
By taste. Sometimes we got coffees that you have to roast a little bit more. Some extraction methods that tell you the coffee needs to be more, a little bit, a higher or a longer roasting curve. Like for example, an espresso. You want the beans to caramelize the sugars that are in it, so coffee will be sweeter, since the espresso machine is a very strong method of extraction.
Oh.
So you want sweeter beans, so you want to roast the coffee a little bit more. For a pour over or for French press, you don't need that. You want to extract more of the floral and the fruits of the coffee. You can get different attributes from that. So you don't need to roast the coffee that long. So that makes a small difference.
Wow.
Nice. I've learned so much already, haven't you?
I feel like we might need to up our coffee pot.
There's no need for that. I always tell people, people ask me, I need, what do I need to buy? What do I get? It's like, you don't need to buy a Chemex or a B60 or one of these AeroPress to have good coffee at home. There's no need for that.
You can use a sock.
Well, the other
you
thing
can
is,
use a sock.
we drink. I'm about a 4 to 6 cup a day person.
Don't say that.
And Jana
out
is probably a 2, maybe 3 cup a day person. So it's hard to do that in a French press.
No, not at all.
That size French press.
Oh wow.
The only thing you have to be careful with this is that when you prepare the coffee here, you put it all out.
Chocolate. Do you smell chocolate?
I smell.
Do I smell chocolate in there?
Yes, it's a Colombian coffee.
Yes.
Colombian coffee will always have chocolate in it.
We talked about you coming over, and I said, "Oh, he's from Colombia."
I feel like
and
there's Brazil nut in there too, though.
Someone actually said,
Or some type of nut.
Is it Juan Valdez coming over?
Is he Colombian?
Yes.
Where's the donkey is? Conchita is. Yeah, and the notes that you can find in a Colombian coffee is chocolate. It's predominant. You know what? This is
That's
what I
probably why it
intend.
really speaks to me so much. I love chocolate.
And when you're from Colombia, you want to. I want to teach. I was talking to you about how we drink really bad coffee in Colombia. And my intention with this coffee was to tell people and show people how drink a good Colombian coffee. So this is a representative of a very good Colombian coffee, or has all the attributes that a good Colombian coffee would have, you know.
Explain that again, because I don't think people caught that. You
So
said
my assumption-
hold on, you said you drink very bad coffee in Colombia?
Yeah, my assumption initially was Colombia is a coffee producing nation,
Right.
country. So I was like, then you must have to really be on your game in Colombia for Colombians. And it's exactly the opposite. It's easier to export coffee because the Colombians will drink anything because
Oh.
the nationality says we're Colombians. Everything is good.
You have the best
I'm not
coffee
gonna
in the world.
pay. I'm not gonna pay premium
Oh.
for what we grow here.
Okay, I
When
get it.
it's not. I mean, just like here, not all oranges are excellent oranges. You know.
Exactly.
And we know this, you know? So we're not going to go to the grocery store and buy a bad orange when we know what a good orange is.
It's important to have in mind that we're in the third wave of the specialty coffee. You know, coffee was developed as as a caffeine, as a motor of the industry.
Okay.
You know, for the industrialization area. You know, at the beginning of last century. So coffee was just a fuel for people, you know, to work. So nobody think about the taste or the attributes of the coffee. It was just caffeine.
It was a pill in liquid form.
There you go. Exactly. So everybody was looking for the caffeine shot. Regardless, taste will be terrible. That's why people start putting sugar in it. People start putting different things in it to
Cream.
improve the taste of the coffee.
Yes.
You know? Nowadays that we know that coffees that are very sweet, we are, relearning. You know, that this started 15, 20 years ago. You know, the specialty coffee industry started 15, 20 years ago. And in Colombia, we're still in the first stage, you know, in the second wave of coffee, let's say. But in, consumer countries like the US,
Yes.
Australia, Europe, Japan, Korea, they want different coffees. So they learn a little bit more about coffees, and they choose their coffees a little bit better. In Colombia, we're still working just to get there, But it's hard because we have Colombian coffee is all good, even the subproducts that we
Right.
that we sell out are good.
Well,
we get now normativity to export that.
It's like, well, even the oranges here, once you get past the peel, it's an orange inside, But so like with the coffee, you're growing great coffee beans. It's just when you're dealing with the Paz Coffee, this is primo, excellent.
Exactly.
This is the Lamborghini of coffees.
We see you see two completely different views when you're in Colombia and when you're in a producer country and when you're in a consumer country. In Colombia, you see trees, you see the green, you see the healthiness of the plant, you see the process, the wet process, you see the dry milling, you see different things. Here, you see coffee bags and roasters.
Right.
Nice.
That's the coffee industry here. So there are two completely different approaches. So in Colombia, we don't see the roaster. People don't even know. Some people think that the roaster is to grind the coffee. We don't imagine that coffee is something that it's on the table every day and that's it. So we're promoting and educating people as in every other place in the world to consume better coffees.
I love that.
It's not easy.
Well,
But we're going to go there. Let's talk about a little bit about the coffee.
Let's do that.
I was saying that my intention with this coffee was to show people what a good Colombian coffee is.
Yes.
So we can find very strong notes of chocolate, sometimes dark chocolate or milk baker's chocolate, which is a little bit sweeter with a little bit of milk, and you get fruity notes. Mostly from the region I get the coffees, you will get blackberry acidity, you get red fruits, and we get medium acidity, and we get sometimes you can feel some floral in it. point.
Okay.
So this is an 86 points coffee, according to the Sky ratings. I capped it, and I got a source, and I capped it, and I roasted myself.
Okay.
And that's my intention to sell this coffee in Colombia. Try to show people what a good Colombian coffee is.
Nice.
So today we're gonna taste a very good Colombian coffee.
Okay, show us how to do
You
this.
said it's an 86.
An 86 on a scale of.
Let's say 60 to 100.
Okay.
Coffees. Let's say coffees from.
Now, is there a 100? Do you
No.
get 100? It's like wine, right? You get up to like a 97.
97 is extremely good.
Right. That's gotta.
To me, I capped. In the industry, we cap. You can cap easily a 94, a 95.
Okay.
That's the highest.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, exactly. There's always some subjects that are subjective to you,
Yeah.
so it's very hard to get 100.
Okay.
So let's start with this is a very big French press.
Okay.
We're gonna make it easy, very easy. This is already ground. We're gonna make 1 spoon per every cup that we're gonna make.
Perfect.
Okay. We're gonna make it a little bit weaker because in Colombia we're used to drink very strong coffee.
1, 2.
Great.
A little
Don't
bit
worry about
more.
that.
It's
Don't
alright.
worry about
It's a little
that.
bit more.
Nice.
We can.
Jason just went to go get a thermometer. Oh no, I don't know if
We're
this
getting,
is
we're
going
getting
to
very
work.
technical.
I know. Technical is not always good when we're live on camera.
It's good. It's good. What do we have?
We are under 212.
Talk to me in Celsius, please.
Uh-oh. So,
Like 92, 93 would be very good.
Celsius.
Oh, 99, 98.
That's too hot.
I can bring
That's
it.
too hot.
We'll pop that lid a little bit. All right, so we'll let that cool down a little bit.
This is an infusion method.
Okay.
This is the same method that we use when we're going to cap the coffees. In a cupping table, we use this method. So you get the coffee, and after 6 or 7 minutes of extraction, it will over extract. So you will start getting flavors that you don't like,
Okay.
metallic taste, metallic endings. So what we do, and is very important with this, is once the coffee is ready, you put all the coffee,
Okay.
because it will remain watery here, and that coffee will still be taking the coffee attributes.
Yeah.
So you put it all over, and that's it. You don't leave the coffee sitting here. It's important that you serve it all. Okay. Once we put the water in here, we're gonna wait at least 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes to let it infuse, to get
All the
chemical-
coffee taste.
Exactly. All
We
the
gotta let
coffee
it
taste.
brew.
Exactly. We don't need a blooming time like if it's a pour over, because it will infuse for quite a while. So it's good. It's good like that.
How did you learn all of this? Did you go to school for this, or have you just learned from experience over time, or have you had mentors?
Mentors, of course. To learn how to cup, you need to be in a place where all the technical things. It's very technical. So you have the special setup, the temperature, the cups, the grinding. So and you have to be cupping every day, because you have to train yourself to detect and to feel different things. So it's not something that you can do at home with normal resources.
Do you feel that your palate is extraordinary?
Well, certainly you need to have the ability.
Okay.
It's just like, I believe, like learning how to drive, or
Right.
learning to ride a bike.
Yes.
You have to be able to do it. And then how good you become, it's
Yes.
up to you.
Because your taste buds are very, very closely connected to your smell,
Exactly.
correct? I mean, that's all
Connected.
interrelated here, and some people are just better at it than others.
Yeah, sometimes people don't like it when we're cupping. We have to sip like very strongly.
Uh-huh.
We can mix the coffee with the air, and we can feel it exactly, what the coffee wants to tell you.
Yeah.
So we do it, and people find it very
So
disgusting.
your coffee
sometimes.
talks to you.
Yes, always.
Is there a method when you're drinking the coffee? Are you supposed to slurp
No,
or
no need for that.
But sometimes it's a little hot.
Yes, usually the right temperature to cup the coffee should be around 47 degrees.
So it won't burn your tongue.
It
It
won't.
shouldn't burn your. It shouldn't be
When we're cupping, we have to wait
scalding.
some time for we have to wait at least 4 minutes for the infusion to take over. Then we break the cup. It forms like a custard on top of the coffee. You'll see it here.
Okay.
And we have to break that and get that aroma coming out of the coffee. Yeah, go ahead. Just do it like that.
Do you have a particular bean that you? I mean, do you have a favorite? I know that you probably have so many, and you're talking about the fruits and the nuts
That's
and
good.
the chocolate flavors.
No, I think it's fine. So we mixed it a little bit with a wooden spoon. It's good to use something that is plastic or not metal at least, so you don't break your glass.
See, we just learned something else.
Exactly, that's
Oh,
fine.
that is so smooth looking in there.
And
Look
then
how frothy it is on top. I think that's a coffee term, frothy.
so we put the cap on, so we keep the temperature there, and we let it infuse for a few minutes.
Can you smell that?
I did smell it. I smell it, yes.
What do you smell?
I smell chocolate. I don't smell blackberry, but the chocolate's very good.
Yeah.
Like it's a,
This coffee also have citrics in it, like oranges and tangerines. You can feel it. It's very good because it's
I'm
the
getting
same
more.
effect. Like when you see a lemon or a lime, makes your
Mouth water.
Exactly. So that will give you that acidity, that citric acidity will give you, a juicy ending, of the coffee. So we look for that.
that's making
So-
my mouth.
Are you?
Yeah, but it's not the best way. Like right now I'm just getting that sour feeling.
Because he's talking about it?
Yeah.
Or because you smell it?
No, because he's talking about it.
So we've moved from the fragrance to the aroma now
Okay,
because
now.
you've put water in it.
Exactly. So I don't have, in the past I used to work for companies that were very specialized. They take care of, every part of the producing process. And, we can find coffees of $100 a pound, very unique coffees, for world barista competitions. That's why I became a barista. We started receiving baristas from Asia, from Australia, from all over the world, to tell me, well, I need this coffee because I'm going to compete in this competition. We started, customizing coffees for them. So I came over here. I talked to one of my friends in Portland. I told him they have the barista school. I told him I need to take a barista class, to get a different approach to see, because from the green beans, it's completely different world. So I need to talk the same language they're talking. So that's why I became a barista, just to see what they were looking for and work better with the baristas.
When you can see it from that angle, how looking at it from the end in mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So not only that, but baristas is one, let's say, one market for those very specialized coffees. But when you're working with roasters, you have to know what are their needs, how they sell their coffee, what are their intentions, what is their public, how educated is their public, so what coffees can they offer. So it's always very enriching to come to a consumer country and see how they roast the coffee, how they interact with their customers. The barista is the person that is right there making the coffee for you every day. So they are the ones who knows how do you like your coffee, how to prepare the coffee for you. They know you very well. So it's a very key person in the entire chain. So I have very huge admiration for baristas. I love their job, Sometimes they are, you know, not taken in count as they should, but they are very important. They bring different approaches to the industry. What if we do this? Actually, the third wave, you know, took place because of the baristas. You know,
the baristas are kind of the frontliners.
Exactly.
They're kind of the greeters.
The coffee end artist. Like if you're, and that's a weird thing to say, because if you're thinking about coffee as an art, the art is through the whole process, and each person has a role in this portrait.
They have the interaction with the final customers.
They do.
They know what you like. They know how you like
and
it.
they can sell
And
it
they're connecting.
regardless.
They're not only the salespeople, they're connecting with the audience.
And you know, a good barista should be able to tell you that, where the coffee was grown, what process was in the coffee, because every morning they go and they dial their machines to make sure you have the right taste or the good coffee, depending on where you go, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go to places where you just push a button and coffee comes out.
Yeah.
Go away. You need some feeling.
That's what I
Your
need.
coffee I knew that you were coming, so your coffee's ready, or your coffee will be ready in 5 to 7 minutes.
But still, they
That's-
remember. I mean, they're
Like
still
a-
the frontliners that remember what kind of coffee you want.
Right.
And
I saw
they're
you pull
making
in,
you
so your
smile.
coffee's ready. Because I started it before you're on your way in. Hope you don't want something different.
Yeah.
Or if you can be one of those chain coffee places, which I guess they also have baristas that know. I'm not knocking those baristas, but because I'm sure there's some baristas that work in there that know what they're doing.
Exactly, many of them.
Are
We're
we
ready to
at our
push?
4
Yeah, ready
minutes?
to push it down.
You want to push it or
No, you do it, please.
So we're going to go slow and
Slow,
steady.
very
Right?
slow, very slow.
That looked like I was going to go fast.
Hey,
didn't it?
I'm
That's good.
maybe I should do it.
No, it's good, it's good.
Okay.
Just keep going, slowly, slowly.
Easy does it, honey.
Because the goal to go slow is to not push any sediment through.
It can come
and
out. It can come out, and it's always good. Like when you're preparing a coffee like this, it's not you like everyday coffee or like morning coffee.
Yeah.
You sit down and prepare a Chemex or a different. It's like it's like a
this is
ceremony.
foreplay.
Exactly.
Oh, Jason, we're back to the bedroom.
We use a very coarse grinding for the French press. Very coarse grinding. It's actually the method that, you know, asks or requires much coarser grind because of the extraction time.
I was more of a smooth grinder.
Oh gosh.
And we don't need to let it sit here. Now we're ready to pour,
We're
right?
ready to put it all.
Good luck, honey.
We'll start with Mama Jones.
Oh,
There you go.
thank you. How full should he fill
We
it?
can make it even in those 3
Okay.
cups. I think would be
Just go.
fair.
That would be equal.
There's a little bit left over. You can give to me. You can always drink coffee. Always.
Oh.
So,
Cheers to Felipe. And I don't believe we mentioned it's Felipe's birthday.
Happy birthday, Felipe.
Thank you.
Paz Coffee.
Thank you.
Yes, and Paz.
To good coffee.
To
To
good,
good coffee and good friends and good connections.
Oh, it's good.
It's hot. Oh man, that's no sock water.
Woo!
So that's what coffee tastes like.
Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh.
Oh, it's very good. It's very easy to have good coffee with what you have at home.
And just enjoy it. Because
sit down.
one thing I realized is
Oh yeah, that was good.
I just drink coffee a lot, and I let it get cool enough to where I can just gulp it.
Yeah, we do. In fact, I usually drink mine cold.
You see, something that's very good to have in mind when you're drinking this type of coffee
Yes.
is the ending, the residual flavor of it. You know, it's pleasant. It's not, you don't have that bitter, you know, aftertaste. It's juicy, it has good notes in it, chocolate, because when the coffee is burned, you can feel that bitterness, and it will last in your mouth, and it's not good to have that. As I was telling you, it has citric notes that make your have a juicy ending, so you have very good aftertaste. So that's a key factor, something to look into when you're buying or trying coffees.
I love it.
How do you know this though? Can you smell it beforehand? Because I didn't smell the citrus before.
Now, the acidity, the citrus you can smell, but
Maybe I couldn't smell it because when I pick up on the chocolate, my brain stops everything.
You went full in on
I was
chocolate.
like, yeah, baby.
yeah, that's when you're like learning, you'll pick up the strongest note, but behind that
Then you
there
have to
are
just
many things.
There's
You-
layers.
Exactly, layers. So there are many things behind it, and you have to train a little bit
So as I
to
learn,
pick that up.
as I start focusing in, I can kind of relax a little bit, let the chocolate go.
It's like a perfume, you know, you kind of...
The citrus you can always smell. You can tell, well, it has oranges, it has tangerines, lemon, limes, especially for Kenya coffees. The lime smell is very strong, the taste also. But
Which until today, I don't think that I would have tasted coffee and said, ooh, do you taste that lime in there? I don't think it would have ever done
But
that.
if you're hunting for it, it's a lot easier to find.
Yeah, when you stop and go, ooh,
So where your attention goes,
you can find it.
yeah. Now, are there different coffees that you would want to have at different times of the day, or is it all just personal preference?
personal preference.
Okay.
You know, natural coffees, you know, they have a very long fermentation, and they taste a lot stronger. You know, some people will say, well, I can have a natural coffee in the morning. It's too strong for me. I will reserve that in the afternoon, for maybe for Sunday afternoon. I can prepare it in a Chemex and have a small ceremony, just like we did. Prepare that kind of coffees. For my morning coffee, I prefer a fully washed. You know, it's smoother. You know, it's not as strong. It's not as an aggressive in taste.
Yes.
So I prefer that for every morning. So it's basically a personal taste, a personal choice, basically. There's people that only take naturals in the morning, and they will prepare a very fine washed geisha on Sunday afternoon. You know.
Are you familiar with the comedian Jerry Seinfeld?
Yes.
So Jerry Seinfeld has this show, and he takes comedians around and they go have coffee together. Well, he took one of his friends to go have coffee, Larry David, and Larry David
We'll have a tea.
ordered tea. And Jerry Seinfeld says,
He hit him in the head with a spoon.
I can't invite you out to have coffee, and then you order tea. That's not going to have coffee together. That's not sharing the coffee experience. If we're going to have coffee together, we have to have
If I was
coffee.
going to invite you out for tea, I would have said, come have some tea with me.
And there is something to be said about all of us sharing the same, because right now we all are sharing this delicious coffee bean, and we're all talking about how wonderful the chocolate and the citrus
And I'm
notes that they
I'm picking them
are.
up now. Because now I'm okay with the chocolate. You know, it's like, and that's kind of like when you buy these toys because you think they're going to make you happy. So the chocolate has made me happy. I'm over it now, and I can start enjoying the other things.
Yeah.
Now, can a normal guy like me get your coffee, or do I have to be a barista, or who do I have to know
Yes.
to get your coffee?
Yeah, let's go there. How do we find you? How do we continue to get your coffee? And how does everyone else get your coffee?
Well, this was an initiative in Colombia. The main purpose of Paz Coffee is export coffee. We export coffee, we find coffee, we go to the producer associations, the co-ops in Colombia, and we find the profiles that are needed around the world. You know, there are some friend of mine called me from Europe. I need this type of coffee. I know where to go in Colombia, find it, and send it to him. But we started developing that culture in Colombia. We saw, there was a need for people to drink good coffee. So we started roasting. I got a small roast machine and started roasting coffee, started selling good coffee to people. And all of a sudden I have family. I was on vacation. They live here in the States and they went to Colombia. They started having coffee. And I started shipping bags of roasted coffee for them. I roasted very fresh and put it on DHL and sent it to them. They told me I can't drink anything else after I had your coffee.
Yes.
So I started shipping coffee here, and now I'm here to start to set up a roastery here because business is
booming. Let's just face it.
It's on fire.
After you taste this,
it's lightly roasted.
At 92 degrees.
So I'm working on that. That's why I'm here. I'm going to stay here for a few months, see what's the potential of that here. I know it's huge, but try to find our place in the U.S. market. So you'll have news for me. For now, I can get you coffee as much as you want. But you'll have news for me because we're trying to set up a production site here to roast coffee and select good beans here. It's a developing market.
That is great.
And we want to do that. So you'll have news for me.
What is your website?
Café Club, cafeclubco.com.
Can you spell that for us?
It's on the coffee bag.
Yes.
Cafe
Café
Club.
Club. Café Club Clo.
Okay.
That's the Colombian name. We want to use Paz Coffee here in the U.S.
Yes.
Because
So we can wait for that if we want to do that.
Exactly. But for now, you can see what we're doing. There's still
There's some good stories there.
Oh, I love that.
And some good videos.
This
we
is
can
fun.
always have a cup of coffee and talk about coffee. That's the part I like more about my job. So anytime.
I love that. Well, enjoy your stay here in the U.S. and this has been fabulous. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for your education.
No kidding.
Thank you for your company. And most of all, thank you for this delicious...
Thank you for warming our souls with delicious coffee.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.